Okay, so I'm watching this video by Abba and Preach. Also, fun fact, I feel very productive. I spent pretty much the whole day working out this code for this game. It feels so weird also working on this because I've never made a game before, and this all just feels so odd to me. Partially because a lot of people are gonna. I'm in the back of my mind. I'm constantly worried about people being upset and mad because I'm not actually coding in a literal sense. I'm using an AI to code it because I don't know how to code, and it would have taken me too long and a lot of ups and downs of frustration to learn how to do it myself. But funnily enough, I'm learning this bit by bit by bit. I'm not saying I'm literally learning how to code, but I'm understanding things bit by bit as I'm doing this, as I'm correcting the code as things break when I try to do other things. Like if I how do I put it? If one thing changes, or if I change one thing, that sometimes it'll mess up something else. Like there's times where like I'll have all the pieces moving, um, but then like today, right? I had the grand decision of fixing the board fully the way I wanted, because before the white was on the bottom, meaning if you were to lay it flat or like in like a three-dimensional space, you would be seeing the board from the white perspective, right? From the white side perspective. But I wanted to flip it, like I wanted the kind of point of my version of, well, one of the few points of my version to be where both people playing it are seeing the board from the black perspective, while the white side still goes first, basically. Historical context in our timeline, that's how it happened. So I kind of wanted that to be like I want to keep the rule of white going first, but I want you to have to see the board from the other's perspective, pretty much. And then I think I know what I'm gonna do with all the other little special pieces that I'm gonna add in later. I'm gonna I'm not gonna spoil that. I'm not gonna spoil that. I'm not gonna spoil that. But I I I am like I just got the idea in my head just now. We have one side that's black, one side that's white, but in our reality, there's more than just black and white. And even then, race is a bullshit concept. It was a made up concept for control. We all understand that. Well, a lot of us understand that. Most of us understand that. A lot of us understand that. Not most, but a lot. Maybe it's most. I don't know. But I feel very productive. I feel very very productive. I I Yeah, so I'm currently trying to fix other things. I think I just deleted a good chunk of the code that I wasn't supposed to because I'm getting four errors that are all following the same thing, and I think I might have to go back and add that back in. I'm gonna have to figure that out. I don't know. But back to the point of me making this, I'm watching an Abba and Preach video called "I'm a Loser." They're talking about another video that another guy made, and they linked it in their video. I'm gonna link their video. I'm gonna link both videos, the original and the Abba and Preach video. And it's interesting hearing the dude talk. He's probably like 30, maybe 40 something, and apparently he's making money from crypto. He looks like he has a nice car. He looks well kept, well groomed, you know. And dude's talking about how he's a loser and how he doesn't. But it's interesting because he's saying how he doesn't want male friends, and you can tell by the way he's talking that he doesn't want lady friends either. He doesn't want female companionship in like a friendship way. It's purely the goal of having a partner that's a woman. But you can tell by the way he's talking that he sounds like a teenager that doesn't see women as people. He sees them as goals. And I remember thinking back to when I was like, maybe like, I don't know, fucking middle school, high school. Well, it's more middle school. I kind of got out of it in high school. Um, but and I think I remember having this conversation with my mom because she brought it up at one point. I think. I don't remember. I remember someone did, but I'm pretty sure it was her. Pretty sure. But she brought that thing up. She brought the exact same thing up to me basically, you know. And a lot of dudes go through this exact same cycle. At some point it's brought to them, or they realize it themselves, that they're not seeing women, and by extension other people, as people. They're seeing them as goals, essentially tools to be used to satisfy their own desires, their own wants and needs, or things they think they need at that. Because remember, you don't really need anything. You want things, you know. Oh, excuse me. Just like ownership. You don't really own anything. Like in a literal, like, okay. I gotta find the exact words I want to use for that, because I don't know, I know what I want to say, you know, but, or, I, I know what I'm trying to say. That makes more sense. You, yeah, yeah. You don't really own anything. You just have immense influence over things. If the government collapsed right now, all the things you quote unquote owned, you don't own any of it anymore, because the government is what establishes the connection between you and that thing that you own. But if the government collapses, meaning like, by collapse in this sense, I mean like it literally collapses. All the government buildings explode. All the officials just leave. Basically, you just go to anarchy times, right? You just go into anarchic. I think that's anarchic society, anarchy society, anarchic society, anarchy society, anarchic. I think it's anarchic. Hold on. Anarchic society. Society. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's a good way of phrasing it. But yeah. It would go down to an anarchic society, meaning your ownership literally just boils down to what you can protect. Basically, again, ultimately, what you have immense influence over. But realistically, modern day, for example, the U.S. government, this will never collapse. No governments are going to collapse unless we all go to war and kill each other. But that's not a collapse, that's just the world ending. But in reality, that is in no one's best interest. That is in no one's best interest, because that means all of this was for nothing. Because you can't, for example, all the movies where it's like, oh, World War III happens or World War IV happens and everything goes boom boom, and there's just rich people left behind and they all hide in bunkers and shit and they come out and rule the world, that's not possible. Because if there's a nuke, if a nuke goes off, bro, those rich societies down below, they're going to implode. Just like regular society, it's going to be like that, but worse. You know? And at the end of the day, that just means you're going to live in an even more boring fucking society, bro. Society would be boring as fuck if that ever happened. The society the world we have now is at the most interesting it's ever been. In my opinion, robots and video games. That's the biggest things. Video games, VR, simulations, and robots, cool as fuck. Now we have another species next to us. Among the thousands that are already here. A species that can not only help us evolve to be better people, but also help every other species below us, technically, on like the totem pole. I don't like saying below, like they're not below us, but they are, sadly. I don't like the way that sounds, because it sounds like humans are on top and we're superior, and ugh, I don't like it. It's like ew. But yeah, like for example, developing translators to where since blah, blah, what the fuck, similar to how we have Google Translate, and you can speak in English, and then it translates in Spanish. Someone can hear in Spanish. They speak in Spanish. It translates to English. I can hear the English. Boom, 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 back and forth. That, but for simpler animals. I speak in English. It translates it into the simplest form of their language, and then they speak back. And then, once you have an understanding like that, you can even teach animals English, or at least sign language, or both. Even if they can't speak it, if there are tools that they can use to be able to write, boom, boom. And if you can write out your thoughts, it makes it so much easier for you to learn. So on and so forth. And even then, back and forth, I could learn how to speak fucking toucan. Or like an orangutan, you know? Like an orangutan. Or a cat, you know? Like cat meows, bro, they actually mean things. And that's the beauty of language. The sounds that we hear, we have no idea what they mean because we don't understand that language. We can't, or, well, we can learn it, but that also takes, it takes time to learn these things, right? Okay, so similar to how I'm using AI to code this game, right? But I'm still learning bit by bit as I'm going through, and yet I'm making a lot of progress on this. Same thing the other way around. We could simply use technology to understand effectively alien languages, literally and um, figuratively. Pretty sure I'm using that right. Pretty sure. If I'm not, correct me. It doesn't matter. You're not listening to this. Well, you are, whoever you are. But the time I'm posting this, no one gives a fuck. That's the beauty of the shit. No one gives a shit right now. It's fucking awesome. Um, but yeah, you use technology to learn alien languages, or to be able to go back and forth with the other creatures, and you slowly pick up on their languages. Some of them are way harder to speak because that's like a lot of, it's either higher pitch or it's just extremely difficult to make your voice do those sounds. But it's not impossible. It's not impossible. Nothing's impossible. But it's just way more difficult, and it may just be easier to use the technology. And just because you can't speak a language doesn't mean you can't understand it, because it's just as effective if you can understand it. You know? Okay, cool. You can't speak it. That's fine. Again, there's no, for example, different languages, right? It's cool if you know 2 languages, 3 languages, 4, but there's no rule saying you have to. You know? Anyways, the point of this was that this dude just reminded me of middle school me for various reasons. But it was just interesting hearing this dude. He's like 30, 40 something. And then it also reminds me of like me doing this right now, right? You could classify me um being on my laptop all day every day, not socializing at all besides the bit I do on Reddit with random people. And that's like past and future conversations because I'm speaking to them, or I'm speaking to a past thing they said, so on and so forth, back and forth, rather than in real time, which technically is still speaking to a past version of what someone said, just closer to the present than normal, or than internet conversations. Anyways, point is, um, technically, what I'm doing could be considered the behaviors of a loser, right? But there is a reason as to why I'm doing things. Just like there's a reason why he did what he did, to focus on crypto rather than socializing or rather than finding a partner, right? He makes money, and if he stops getting, if he gets out of his own head and stops thinking in like the weird, like fucking dating cultured bro dude podcast dude way of fucking thinking, it's so fucking weird. Um, then he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Literally, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He'll literally be fine, dude. Um, but yeah, he used his time to get into crypto, or stay in crypto because he got in early and just make money, you know. And I'm using my time to make this so I can make money and so other people can make money. Because, oh my god, bro, dude, bro, homie, dude, bruh. You don't understand. I mean, a lot of you do. I don't know. I have a lot of ideas for this. I also drew out a picture of, like, the first kind of, like, I guess essentially, in a way, like a hub room, in a way. but it's going to consist of like it's basically a room with like a sitting area that's in the middle of the room, and there's three floors to it. The first floor is it's essentially like a guild hall with like um well, no, you're not gonna have like the tables and shit. It's just gonna be like a sitting area, like along the wall. Well, a sitting like lining around the wall, and then a sitting area in the middle. And then above that, there's like a training floor, and above that, a library, and then above that, um, sleeping quarters essentially. And then above that, it's like the guild head area, where like top members of whatever the fuck. But it's literally just you. There's no other people in there. Well, it's you, the soul warden, and then essentially just the placeholders for the placeholder like vessel forms of the 700 plus different vessels that are in the game that are going to be in the game, and the goal would just to be to populate that room with all of them slowly as you update the game more and more, or as I update this more and more basically, uh until all of them are finished. And then as we're updating it more and more and more, I say we, but there's no one, it's just me right now. But as I slash we update it more and more, we then update the animations where they all interact properly with each other. And the goal is to turn it into like a chess themed fighting game. I love arena fighter, so it'll kind of be an arena fighter style. I just love it. Plus, it reminds me of Pokemon Stadium and the very like think of Fairy Tale. Think of the Grand Magic Games and like the first episode of that season, and you understand what I mean. Hopefully, I don't know, but but yeah. Also, watch the video where it's like the chess figures, and I think it's like inspiration, like chess fighter inspiration or chess arena fighter inspiration. I forget, but yeah, you'll understand what where I'm kind of going with all this. But there's a lot more. There's a lot more. There's a lot more. I kind of worked out like the entire, not kind of. I did work out the entire like looping story in a way. I pretty much have the big picture of this entire thing fully worked out. It's just all the little moments in between, all the little inflection points in between. That's what I need to fill in, and that I can fill in later. But yeah, I can fill in. I can fill in later. Right now, I tend to focus on making this, so I can put it out, so I can make money, so I can continue developing it, and go from there. Basically, yeah, pretty much. Okay, that's it. Bye bye. Thank you for listening.